If you have neck or shoulder pain and maybe even wrist pain, then it is most likely your serratus is an underutilized and strengthened muscle. Now in this exercise, we're going to do what's called foam roller up the wall to work on scapular upward rotation and use that serratus to pull the scapula around the rib cage and upwardly rotate it to help with an overhead movement. This is going to help us not have shrugging up in our neck and shoulder, to help create nice opening and expansion and lengthening into our back as we go up and overhead, and also help make sure that the shoulder joint doesn't get pinched when we're going overhead. Now, as we go to do this, we're going to work on inhibiting the pec minor by adding a band around the elbows to help think of this pulling out and away from the midline and broadening of the chest wall here, and feeling kind of, your shoulder blade muscles kind of connect around towards each other. Not so much that they aggressively squeeze back, but more so to just kind of keep everything a little more open in the front to help us not round forward here. This is going to be particularly important for those that already tend to have kind of rounded shoulders and tightness in our pec, thinking that we have to create some backwards positioning to then create a better position to come forward from. So come join me as I talk you through working on the foam roller up the wall serratus exercise. So here I am setting up in a bit of a elevated plank position against the wall. I have that band around my arms just above my elbows. I have my wrists on the foam roller, and I'm starting with my elbows at about shoulder height. I'm maintaining this nice plank position with my heels slightly elevated and knees soft, and reaching through my armpits, elbows, and pinkies, with my arms ending up being at an angle towards the wall throughout the movement. So as I'm doing this, you can see my rib cage and hips don't move, but I'm just isolating that move in my scapula. I'm not letting myself sink forward and shift back as I'm going to raise my arms up overhead. I'm not letting my chest kind of sink forward or ribs flare as I go to move my arms up overhead, but instead of keeping those ribs back as I reach those armpits and elbows and pinkies. I'm also making sure that as I go up, I'm not letting my shoulders shrug up. And so you really want to feel the bottom tip of that scapula rotate under and through that armpit instead, and stopping when it feels like it wants to shrug up instead. I'm also making sure that as I go up and down, my forearms stay parallel to each other throughout the movement. I don't have an elbow tuck in or wing out or palm turn down or away, but instead they stay parallel to each other throughout the movement. Anytime things feel sticky, you can pause, kind of inhale into your back, between your shoulder blades into your armpits, exhale, see if you can go up a little further, and then coming back down. Always making sure that that neck stays nice and relaxed throughout the movement the entire time. We also want to make sure that you don't feel any discomfort going down your arms. Instead, you should feel the area around your armpits working, maybe a little bit of engagement between your shoulder blades, and then maybe a little bit of core work as you're working to hold your rib cage in place. But in the end, your shoulders and neck should feel nice and free afterwards, and just kind of feeling generally more relaxed.